Hello, and welcome back to the My Face Simulator. I am currently just in my scaffolding in the main kind of living room area because that is the safest place from creepers, even though in the last episode we ran around everywhere placing down big torches, those bad boys, which prevents mob spawning in a large radius, and given the zero mobs anywhere, it looks like it worked, which we love to see. We also, over here, did a little bit of terraforming in the beginning of the episode. We built this path that's going to meander down and kind of around to eventually maybe a bridge or something that goes over to the main island. And then we also tried our best at a custom tree, which I think looks pretty decent, especially from the two main angles we'll look at it. And I think it fits the vibe that I'm going for. We just need way more custom trees on either side of it, and I think it'll blend in quite a bit more. But we're not doing that today. As you could probably tell from the title and thumbnail, we are trying to figure out redstone. Redstone, if you don't already know, is a pain to automate in just like the semi-basic create mod. I have quite a bit of other create mod things, but if we look at redstone here, we can fill cinder flower, which we'll get into in a second, with a potion of strength. Potion of strength isn't too obnoxious. It's just blaze powder and an awkward potion. The difficult part is getting a automated source of blaze powder, because you need to have a blaze farm that drops blaze rods, and at least having that in the overworld is really difficult and probably impossible. I'm not too sure, but we'll get to that after we make the redstone farm. The other half of this is the cinder flower here. The real only automated source is getting netherrack, crushing that down into cinder flower. And the way you make netherrack automatically is mixing andesite and netherwort on a heated blaze burner. We obviously already have an andesite farm. Netherwort is super easy. You just throw it on one of the farms and have a harvester harvest it. The only challenge is blaze rods and figuring out how everything goes together. Since it's been quite a bit since the last time I did one of these videos where I showed you kind of my thought process and design process for making this, the last one was this build here, I think it'll be good to get into a creative world and show you what I'm thinking, how I'm doing it, and maybe you can learn some stuff about the create mod or just about how I think, which might be useful. I don't know. So without further ado, let's jump into a creative testing world. We are back in the creative testing world. You can see quite a bit of machines, and if you watched the previous video, you'll recognize these things. But over here, I have the beginnings to hopefully a good system. So the main issue I've been running into with creating and automating netherrack is that it requires two inputs and a thing underneath it. So we technically need three sides of this thing for inputs and outputs. The issue with that is that we can't just have a line of basins. We have to have two basins side by side, and then one side input, and then on either side we have an output into a chute onto a belt. I've already got this semi-working, and the good news about this is you can just extend it to as long or as far as you need, depending on the speed of the farm. And now we can work on the actual crushing of the netherrack, which is going to be done here, and putting it into cinder flower. And then we can get to the other half of this, which is the potion of strength. It's only 25 millibuckets needed, and the one blaze powder gives us 1,000 millibuckets. So if I do my math correctly, that means one blaze powder gives us 40 redstone dust, which isn't a ton, but if you think about that as one blaze rod, it gives us 80 redstone dust, which is a little bit better. What that does mean, though, is the potion of strength crafting and stuff is going to be way faster, and we probably just need one basin versus the cinder flower stuff, which is going to take way longer because it's a 1-to-1 from netherrack to cinder flower. After quite a bit more testing, tweaking, and all of that stuff, we have finally a mostly working system here. So what happens is, as I showed earlier, the netherrack goes into the crushing wheels, gets turned into cinder flower. Cinder flower goes up onto this belt and gets put into one of the 9 little systems here that squoosh potion of strength onto the cinder flower, turns it into redstone. That just gets put back into a creative crate for now. And it is quite compact so far. So all things good here. The last thing we need to do now is make the potion of strength. I'm going to hope that I can put it just here on this one block area and keep it in the whatever 7 by maybe like 8 blocks tall by something blocks long footprint, because that would be amazing. But we'll have to see in a smidge and see if I can actually do that. So the first thing we need to do with the Potion of Strength is first make an awkward potion, which can be made with water and netherwort, which is pretty easy. We do need a blaze burner, but since we already have netherwort coming along this way, I think we can delete this block that I've just been using to stop the belt here and put it straight into a basin. So if we place a basin like that with a blaze burner below it, and for some reason, I'll show you this in a millisecond here. If we do this, this is going to spaz out. But if I put a funnel on the end of it, these basins will no longer pick up netherwort. You can see at the top there, it's going down 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and it's not getting refilled. And I assume it's because this funnel at the end of the belt is getting priority. So it's taking all of these 3 on these 2 blocks for some reason, and this one is not allowed to pick any up. If I remove this, and maybe also this one, you can see it then just picked up some, but again, it won't refill itself. So to fix this, we'll use a depot here so that this can still pick it up. It's not connected to the belt or anything, but this belt will throw it onto the depot if, let's say, we remove enough netherwort. You can see at the top, 16, still getting rid of it. There we go. It just finished the stack, and now a new stack got put on, and this thing can still pick up items and still make netherrack. So that's the only item input that we need for the awkward potion. The next thing we need is to connect this thing up to lava. Oh, that would have been almost really bad. And I think that's really the only way we can do it. And then separately, we need an infinite water source somewhere here. We'll need a mechanical pipe of some sort to pull in the water source. And we obviously can't have it here because then we would need a block here, which we cannot have. But maybe if instead I did something like this, did like a little cogwheel thing, hook it up, and then if I can place water source on top of this block here, let's try it. I think it'll work. We can place the mixer above this barrel, which is a good blocker. I'm going to put a water source here and here. And then we just need a block here and like that. And then I'm hoping this doesn't spill everywhere, but I think it's fine because oh, it spilled there, it spilled there, it spilled there. I think that's okay. There's no real redstone in here, so I think we're fine. If we do an andesite casing there, we can now remove that block and be fine. These are all waterlogged. This is getting water in here, perfect. And it has 1 bucket of awkward potion. Now I'm curious if I grab another basin here, connect this thing like this, and if just for now we power it like this, is this going to put the awkward potion and a water bucket in here? I'm not sure how to get just the awkward potion. Time to Google. Ooh, so it turns out we have a smart fluid pipe, which can help control flows by fluid type. You can specify what source you want to extract, and then we can put the awkward potion in there, and that will work. Okay, that's good news. Here, I'm going to scooch all of this over 1 block. So I've scooched it over and extended this by just a little bit. If we place the smart fluid pipe down and then grab an awkward potion and place that in this filter, that will hopefully just select the one, we'll see, and then throw mechanical pipe down and then 1 more pipe like this. And then if we connect it, we just got an awkward potion. Beautiful. This obviously isn't the dimensions that I want, but I might be able to compact it in a minute here. Nice, and compacting it was pretty easy. I just threw in some other stuff here. The last thing we need to do is set up the actual strength potion making. So this is just going to be blaze powder and an awkward potion. I'm going to just require blaze powder as a item to put in here, which isn't the best, but I think it will do. And again, we need a blaze burner here with lava connected to it. Beautiful. We have the awkward potion going in, we have the mixer, and then we need an output, which is going to be a challenge in and of itself, and an input, which is the other half of that challenge. See, we only have this side that we can really get stuff in and out from, because this one, while it does have 1 spot here, it's only 1 spot, because this basin is taking up this spot here, and everywhere else isn't really going to work. And in order to fix this issue, I put a mechanical arm here that will place blaze powder into the basin, and I'm getting them from way down here. I know I said in a little bit earlier that I was just going to have blaze powder as an input. I was able to squeeze in the crushing of blaze rods into blaze powder, getting them filtered out onto this belt here and going all the way along here onto this depot. Thankfully, I think this is the max block limit. This mechanical arm can reach this depot and can also reach this basin. As you can see, if we take from there and deliver to there and put it here, it can reach both. And if we had blaze powder on this, it will put it into this basin. As I said, I also rearranged this thing so that we can now crush blaze rods into blaze powder. So if we throw in a stack of blaze rods here, it will get crushed into blaze powder, filtered out, put onto the basin, and will refill itself, which is beautiful. I also set up the output here with a smart fluid pipe that brings itself all the way around over to here to a like temporary holding tank, just so we can get a little bit extra potion of strength just chilling in case we run out of blaze rods and don't notice immediately. And then it continues on back to the spouts here that go into the system that I kind of worked out before. And then after that, it just goes straight into whatever storage system you want. Obviously a giant item vault right next to it is probably not what you want, but it's in a creative testing world, so we're just throwing it here for now. So I've been running this farm for quite a while, and thankfully it doesn't back itself up, which is great news as long as you don't put in too much blaze rods or blaze powder, which in the tutorial that's going to come out Friday, I will have a like smart on and off switch for this, so you won't have to worry about it. I've been running it for a minute now, and we already have 500 redstone dust, which is super awesome. And you can see a pretty constant flow going in here like this, which is great to see. Obviously, this thing is super overkill. At least for me, I prefer a fast farm that I only have to run every so often than a super slow passive one. Because obviously we can cut this down to one mechanical mixer making netherrack and like 2 spouts, and it'll be fine and work great. But I prefer getting more to the max limit of making the potions and stuff and having it be a little bit more even. So that's why I'm going with this gigantic system here. And I think it looks super cool. You can really put power in from anywhere as long as it's in the right spot, which is a great feature of this thing. But enough gushing over it. Let's figure out how to build this in survival. We are back in survival, and I wanted to kind of first lay out the pathway and perhaps maybe part of the floor that we're going to need. And then I want to build it like around here-ish. And I found these blocks. I'm actually going to remove this top layer of black concrete here. I found these blocks that are exactly what I was looking for last time that I couldn't find. I don't know if since updating to the newest version of Create and Chipped and everything like that, the complaint I had with the weird warning blocks was the same before, because like you couldn't turn it before, but now you definitely can. It still doesn't look good, but these things are the solution to that. They connect to one another if you have them next to each other, and on the corners they have a cool little thing there. So I'm going to use this as kind of like our warning track for every machine, the pit, and everything else that we're going to have in the area. There we go. And in my opinion, this is going to look super, super good once we have like a floor, and we can put it around every single machine that we're going to make. So I have the schematic for the farm here. It is this big. There we go. And I'm not sure exactly where I want to put it. I think just in the middle is probably a good shout. Like if you were to walk straight in, we want it in the very center here. And then probably just up against the wall like this is going to be fine. That's probably in the middle. I do want to rotate. Oops. I do want to rotate it because this side looks so cool. But yeah, I think that's good. And then for height placement, I'm going to want to put it at floor level. So one above. And then we'll have this thing going around the whole way. And then actually I'm going to scooch it one block that way, because now we can put the warning track behind it, which I think is going to look super cool. There we go. And that's what it'll look like once it's actually in, because so far it's not real. For the inside blocks here, I think I'm going to do the same as what we did over here with the white, like wired concrete or whatever. I think I have some... Yeah. So this block is super cool. I think it looks sick. It's like a deep slate vibe with a white border. And since we're going to have a machine above this, we won't really see the deep slate, so it won't like blend in super a lot. Let's grab the schematic, and yeah, so that's what it's going to look like once the machine is in. And you could just see the white border around it, and the rest is mostly hidden, which I actually prefer. So now comes the time of getting everything that we need, putting it in the chest, and then hitting play on this bad boy. So I will see you in a minute. Since we're going to need blaze rods for the farm itself, I think it might be a good idea. Oh, come on. It might be a good idea to prep the yoinkage of this spawner so that I can bring it maybe to the overworld. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. In order to actually In order to actually bring this thing to the overworld, we would need to pick it up with the wrench. And if you watched the video like a million years ago, I am not able to do that. But a bunch of people in the comments were like, you can change a config option to let that happen. And I might do that just because I think it'll be fun to have a blaze spawner just in our normal spawner spot. But I think I'll decide that later if we need more. So that is set up. I have all the blaze burners that I need. So escape. The materials are all acquired. We have everything we need here. So I think we just send it. I need gunpowder. Gunpowder obtained. I'm just going to hit send it because it should all be in the right spot. And it looks like it's all working. The things we will need to fix are the item vault, as per usual with all schematics. It just won't ever work, which is fine and kind of easy to fix. We'll need to input lava, which... Ow. We have. Love to see it. I want to know in the comment section if you think we should do like the glass fog texture above it. I tried it in a creative testing world and it didn't look crazy good. If you think I should, because I like the hole with the lava at the bottom, but also I think fog would look cool, but maybe I just did it wrong or something. So if you want, I can try it out and see what it looks like, and then maybe we'll change it, because the tube doesn't matter if there's blocks in the way now. Once it's already placed, it will matter if I bring it up and then back down again though. So we have to first decide the height of this thing. I probably want it like around this high up. So I'm going to need to move it anyway. So we're not putting the glass down today, but let me know if I should put glass. Make it foggy. But this thing I think is already almost done. It's gonna make like a little ding when it is done, and it looks super cool. It's like perfectly squarular, or as my game crashed. I guess that's not good. I wonder what happens if your game crashes in the middle of placing down the schematic. Is it gonna kill you? Is it gonna be annoyed? Oh no. Ah. All right, let's hop back in here and hope that it didn't break too bad. Okay. It's mostly done. It looks like it saved its progress. Okay. So, game crashed, didn't break it, which is good. I didn't know that was going to be an issue, but I'm glad it didn't break it. And almost everything is pretty much fully in here. I will need to replace these fluid tanks here, but we'll do that once it dings. Oh, haha, it's done. And we do have some leftovers just because I couldn't be bothered counting. As you do with any schematic, replace all the fluid containers and just 2 of the vault blocks. That's a 3x3 now, that's a 1x2. I think everything else is good here. We will need a water source on these 2 cogwheels here, which I might as well do. Sweet, that is now in. And I suppose next up is just linking up everything that we need. So on this side, we're gonna need nether wart. This side, we're gonna need andesite, and both of those need to be gathered from over there. But for just a moment, I'm just going to use barrels and transport it manually, because I think next episode or the episode after, we're going to get into transporting items from the storage system here over to there in that building. And we don't have a ton of nether wart. It might be a good idea for me to quickly run over here. I don't know where I want to grow nether wart, because I think it's going to be very obviously in the way. I think we just try it here and see what it looks like. So let's see what this looks like from far away. You know what? I think it adds a cool color to it. I'm not too annoyed about that. So I'm also going to do it up here, because this thing is going to burn through nether wart like crazy. I don't know the rates specifically, but my guess is like 2,000 an hour. Maybe more. So we'll have this be soul sand, and once this grows enough, then we can place more down. But I want to test out the redstone maker and make sure that we actually get some redstone. Barrels everywhere. And then I'm also just going to throw the blaze powder onto that, because that's going to go down to the other side over here and fill up, I think, this one with blaze powder to make the strength potions. Lava is coming in here. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the good thing about this thing is that it will just work no matter which way you put stuff in. We throw that in. Lava is now filling up these. Oh, and water is leaking from somewhere. Where is water leaking from? I think that was a glitch. Weird. Well, that's now fixed. And this thing is working. These blaze burners are filled with lava, which we care about. And then these ones should be as well, all of them. I can't see that last one, but I assume it is. And now we could try to put in nether wart. And andesite. Now this isn't really going to be fast enough, I don't think, to get us anywhere, but it'll be a good test to make sure that everything actually works. Yep, so we have 29 netherrack in here. This is really strange. So we have 29 netherrack in the item vault, but this brass funnel is not dumping anything out. I'm going to break and replace this again, and that fixed it. Well, now that works. I'm going to move this back to exactly 64, because it is better if it is 64. So this works. Beautiful. We would need some more nether wart to throw it into this awkward potion, which I suppose I can go snag. So obviously once we have like a full supply of nether wart and everything, this will be a little bit better. But that's in. Nether wart is good. Blaze powder awkward potion makes a potion of strength. Goes in, and we are getting redstone. That is awesome. So the actual numbers, I think, for this thing is that it's going to need 16,000 andesite and nether wart per hour in order to work at full speed of 25,000 redstone per hour. Obviously, I don't think there's any reason you would need to run this for more than an hour, just period ever. I don't ever expect myself to input 16,000 andesite and nether wart in here at a time, but this is going to be a great source of redstone, and we already have 27, which is a crazy amount for not even a stack of nether wart in here. And while we do have 6,000, this stuff goes so fast when you're trying to make the rose quartz things, which are 8 redstone to 1 rose quartz, and that's used for any of the fancy schmancy stuff, like the smart observers, smart chutes, brass funnels, and I'm so glad this is working. This is awesome. But that is going to be all the time I have for today. We made a super cool, compact, and fast farm. It does require a lot of stuff, so take that into account. And I kind of showed you how to build it, how I thought about building it, how I designed it, all that fun stuff, and then we started getting work on the floor of this build here, and I think next episode, we're finally going to build it. I've been putting it off for so long, I think I kind of have to. So watch out for that. But again, that's going to be next episode. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like. And if you're not already subscribed, do it. Subscribe. All right. Peace.